All right. So, ready? Welcome to Double D.
Love Cast.
I'm Damon.
I'm Desiree, and this is Life Therapy.
So,
Happy Friday. Gosh,
yes,
it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on, guys.
been a little while. We're still together. We've been super busy. So the last episode, we were actually going camping that weekend. We were supposed to do an interview with my bestie and his wife because they've been together for 22 years, and we were gonna just kind of ask them some questions on what their secrets were. I already know what their secrets are because they've been my friends forever, but I wanted you guys to hear it so that way you guys could actually hear how they do it. But we were so busy because Des had so much planned on the agenda for the weekend of camping that we didn't have any time.
It just totally, honestly blew our mind because we were just having so much fun, and it was so hot.
Oh my gosh, so hot. So hot. Yeah, we really, between the kids and all the friends and the dogs, it was just not really an opportunity for us to film. And the drinking. And we were hitting up like 3 wineries a day. So it was like we were super busy. So, and then for the past few weeks, we've been super busy. But today, what we're going to be talking about in this episode today is we're going to be talking about some life shit. Okay, some life shit that we've been experiencing recently, and kind of give you guys a little peep into our lives and some of the challenges that we faced recently, and some of the things that we resolved, and something that she's still kind of going through right now. So what have we done for our dates over the past few weeks, babe?
Well, we actually had a date yesterday. We had a date, I think, on
Saturday.
No, I think we also had one like on
Tuesday.
Yeah.
We try to do them as often as possible. So, because it's very, very important to be intentional, which is what we taught you in the last episode.
Yeah, but we've actually like gone out to like a restaurant. So we did lunch
yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And had some really, really great conversations and stuff. Last Sunday, we went to an Angels game, did some tailgating. Had a good time. So
Saturday night we did one of those concerts in the park, so right down the street from the house. So that was nice.
That was fun. It's always fun every year.
Yeah.
So,
and then we've been doing some house projects.
Oh god. Okay, so just so you guys know, okay,
I'm a DIYer, guys.
She loves the DIY. Okay, she loves to do the house stuff herself,
like rip it out and put it back in.
I don't. Okay, but I'm the muscle, so I'll help out whenever she wants something done. I'm like, all right, fine. Okay, I'll help out. Like, so we tore the floors out, like
put the new floor in.
Man, yeah. So I'm not. You guys know me. You know I don't like manual labor. Okay, I don't. But for her, I'll help her out. So
build beds.
She loves this shit. It's like therapy for her, like to build things and stuff. Like you would think it would be the opposite.
I just like to bring different designs and pieces together. Like I watch all those home improvement shows, love that stuff. It gives me just so many ideas. If I can just go around and just fix up people's houses, that would be so much fun for me.
She's like the constant interior designer who's always changing things. I don't like the bathroom anymore. I think I'm gonna tear this off. I'm gonna put some tile in. I'm gonna do this and this. I'm like,
well, it's old, guys. It's not like it's new stuff. It's old as in it came with the house from the 1980s. So it's time for an update.
Yeah.
You can only throw so many coats of paint over something to make it look good. And then you finally got to end up, rip it all out and start fresh.
Yeah. She loves that stuff. I don't, but I help out. So that's her thing. But okay. So today's episode, we wanted to talk about something that was kind of I would say it was probably one of our first big challenges that we've had in our relationship this year. So
life isn't always just fun all the time, guys. It's not easy.
Yeah. Don't believe what you see on social media.
We get a lot of roadblocks all the time.
Constantly have challenges. So I'm gonna fill you guys in on what we had with challenge here. Okay, we're at our gym right now, right? So here's a little challenge. If you guys follow me on Facebook, you guys on Facebook, because you're watching right here, okay? Watching live. You guys probably heard me or saw me post a couple times about how I was super stressed out. Okay, but you guys don't know why, because I kept it a secret, right? I kept it within me, within us, It had nothing to do with us. But it had to do with our business, right? And it was one of the biggest challenges that we face so far when it comes to business. And basically what happened was, I literally was in the office one day signing up a brand new client on a 1-year contract, right? And as he's filling out the papers, I get a bling on my phone, right? So I got some time to check my text messages, see who it was. It was the landlord for the building that we rent to run our gym out of. Okay. And
our lease is up.
Yeah. And see, our lease had already been up and we were on like a month, right? We were kind of just in the air about what we were going to be doing in the future. And we just weren't really making any commitments or anything just yet. Right. So we were just kind of like a month plan. Right. And anyways, I get this bling. Landlord says, you got 48 days or 45 days to vacate. Right. Basically says you guys need to get out. Right. You want to get somebody more serious in there, something more long-term, blah, blah. Right. And so my heart like dropped. Okay. And being the, the man, which the man basically in the relationship is like the problem solver, the fixer, the one who's, the one that, basically is supposed to be the main provider of the family and taking care of the family and everything. Right. I was stressed. So anyway, so that happens. And so we're trying to figure out like what the hell we're going to do. So then I'm like, I go to her, I'm like, what are we going to do? Like we're going to go to another, because at the point that we were at right now in this position in our lives, right? Since all this stuff that's been going on in the past 2 years, our business is nowhere near where it used to be. Okay. And we weren't in a position to where we could just go open up another one. Right. It costs us $320 to put this place together. Right. We're not in a position to start a new one. Right. So then we're looking like, all right, can we go rent, pay rent to run our business out of another gym locally and just move our businesses over there? Right. Like we used to do back in the day. Nope, that didn't happen. So I'm stressed. Right. In my head thinking like, damn, like I feel the one, like I'm the one responsible for this. Right. And I'm the one that needs to find this to figure out this problem, but I have no idea what to do. And so I'm stressed out about this entire situation. And she is like, I have to say she was like although I was taking on all the stress, she honestly didn't give a fuck. She was just totally like, whatever
God's plan is for us.
I was like, and she was just like, we'll figure it out. We always do, And I'm like, nah, we're about to lose like our income in 45 days. Like I'm freaking out right now, So, and then I'm in my head, I'm playing out like this scenario, analyzing everything. I'm like, look, if we lose the business, we're going to lose the income. I'm like, my 800 plus credit score is about to go to 400. Like I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. Like I was thinking about like worst case scenario, part of me. Right. And then the other side of me is like, no, we can't let that happen. Right. We got to figure out a solution. Right. But the whole time, she's just like, what were you telling me?
Just figured out we've been through worse. We're better off. Our relationship was its best when we were poor. But also when we had to open up our own gym, we only had 10 days. We used to run our businesses out of another gym and they gave us 10 days to get out. And that's with almost 100 clients. And so where are you going to take 100 clients in 10 days?
So that's what led to us open up our gym initially.
Yeah. So we always work better under pressure. That's where, change, it's that uncomfortable growth. But I am just a firm believer that, obviously we're not going to be like trainers forever. I'm not going to be like an 80-year-old trainer, but, wherever God wants us, whatever God's plan is for us, it's kind of like, why are you going to get so upset about something that you can't really like control so much, right? So yeah, the stress doesn't cause any reason to like, you just can't get up like crazy and you can't just like let it like rule your whole life.
Yeah. Well, when it's your main bread and butter. Yeah. So anyway, so I was the one taking on all the stress of this, and she was the one that was like the positive guiding light. That was totally peaceful and calm. And she was just like, and I'm like, how are you not stressed out? I'm totally stressed out right now. She's just like, whatever God's plan is, she's like, whatever happens. We always find a way to make it happen. We'll figure it out. Whatever's going to happen,
guys,
happens.
If you've been following us for a long time, you should know by now that we believe in having multiple streams of income. So even if we close down the gym and we didn't train people, we still have income sources coming in. Definitely not as much as our training, because that's our bread and butter. But hey, you just kind of got to just ride the waves sometimes. It's going to get a little rocky, but it's going to be all right in the end.
Yeah. So this was like a major challenge. And I would say from like had this happened, say like 2 years ago, when we were the old versions of us, it would not have gone this well. Okay.
Like, I'll kill you.
It would not have gone this well. Like, because the old version of me would have been freaking out. Okay. I would have been a complete asshole to everybody. Most of you guys didn't even know it was going on.
He was a big stress case already with this.
What do you mean?
Right now with this like last situation, you're like a stress case.
Yeah, but I mean, but most people had no idea what was going on. Had this been like the old version of me, everybody would have known. I would have been an asshole to everybody. Every one of my Facebook lives, I would have been like, because I would have been so stressed out, right? But I handled it really well. And she was just like the piece that like, I was stressed, concerned, trying to figure out a way to solve the problem, blah, 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 right? And then had all this stuff subconsciously on my mind that I'm trying to figure out a solution for, right? Because I'm a man, that's what we do. And she was like this guiding light and this positivity and this peace that like, and it was so beautiful for me because she literally kept me calm. So like having like, what was going on in my head, and then just having her to basically just kind of balance me out, it just kept me at peace, even though I was stressed out inside. But so anyways, we ended up pulling in one of my clients who is happens to be one of the largest gym franchisors in the world. And he basically called our landlord and negotiated a deal, got us an extension, and we got everything taken care of, and we're all good now. Okay.
Yep. So we're here for another 3 years.
So it was taken care of, right? But it was still stressful.
So thank you, Anthony. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you, AG. So, but anyway, so one of the other topics that we wanted to talk about, this is more on her side. So this entire situation with us getting back together,
not everybody's happy about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a certain key people, and it's okay because these key people are kind of toxic anyway. So, why don't you ahead and run away with the story, hon? This is your story.
So, when Damon and I got back together, I am a super, super social person, and, we all have our like girls in our group and stuff like that, people that we're like tight with, right? That we probably share way too much information with. And so I take full responsibility for this by sharing too much information while Damon and I were not together. And so when I told her that we were getting back together, this is my best friend, who I thought was my best friend. She was like, you have to choose between me or him. Like, I cannot be friends with you. I cannot support you if you're going to get back with him. And I'm just like, oh yeah, gosh, like, okay, I won't even talk to you about him anymore. Like, you're not going to even be affected by it. And that's how we kind of left it off. Well, that was over 4 months ago. And we have not even spoken to each other since. So recently, she actually like deleted me off of like her Instagram. I know it sounds like so like childish, doesn't it? And then put her thing to private. But I want to tell you guys, that punched me in the heart. So I had always really kind of questioned our friendship. That it was like more one-sided. Like, I considered her my best friend, but maybe I wasn't her best friend.
I always knew she was toxic.
So, yeah, so that just with that whole situation, that has been, challenging because the other thing is like, they are my neighbors.
Literally next door.
Yeah.
Literally next door.
So it just makes it really like awkward sometimes. So it's going to be interesting how this whole thing plays out, but
So what would you say you're learning from this?
Well, I'm definitely much more standoffish now, for sure, because then I'm questioning like, okay, so who really is a friend to me? and what makes a good friend. And, you know, when I was thinking about this, I'm thinking like, you know, friends, at least good ones and real ones, they want the best for you, right? Yeah, of course they care for you, but they are going to back you up on whatever decision you make, right? So, because they love you and they know that if that's something that you want, that they're going to support you in it. So, that's what I feel like a real good friend is. And so I've been struggling with that. So I feel like I've had a loss, but not with death when it comes to a friend. So I actually feel like, you know, this is probably a better thing that needed to happen, because, you know, she didn't offer a lot of good qualities to my life. Yeah, we had fun together when we were together. Absolutely.
She was
fun. You know, can shoot the shit with her all the time, and, you know, be my little drinking buddy on, you know, wine nights or whatever, because we literally live next door to each other. But yes, I'm absolutely hurt by this whole thing, and it has been a big learning experience for me. And at first I was like shutting off everybody. So like the last 4 months, I really haven't hung out with anybody except for like just one of my friends.
Our wing team, we do everything with.
And, you know, so now I'm just like, why am I going to do that? That's not me. That's like, I am social. I love people. I need to be around people. So I'm not going to let one person who was not even as close as I had hoped that they were, thought that they were, going to affect how I am with other people. So that's where I am now. So it's going to be a goodbye. That friendship will never be restored, even if she tries to come back to me now, because honestly, I feel like at this point, I just got thrown away like a piece of trash. So yeah.
So what was the other thing that she had told you that day whenever you told her that we're getting back together? Remember the thing that she was telling you about how I never loved you?
Oh yeah. There's some slang word. I can't even remember what it is because I had never even heard it before, but there's some slang word where it's somebody uses the idea that they love you as a form of manipulation. So that's what she told me. She's like, he doesn't even love you. He's basically just acting like he loves me to manipulate me. And that is one thing that I have always known about Damon, is like, he is head over heels in love with me. He would do absolutely almost anything for me. Yeah, sometimes I can be a bitch, and sometimes I'm
a pain in my ass.
Yep. But we all know that he is in mine too.
Yes. And she's my favorite human, my favorite person in the world.
And so we'll just be a kick in the pants for each other. But yeah, so I've never ever doubted that. So I was just like, you know, you ever hear that saying, like, hurt people hurt people? That's how I look at it. So I always feel like when somebody says like things hurtful, like to me or to other people, it's because they have hurt, they have past trauma, things that they haven't dealt with either. And I know no one's perfect. And, you know, I'm just looking for good humans. Like, you want to be good, do good, and be kind to people. Like, I just can't believe that someone's hate is so much for somebody that they're like willing to let go of like 10 years. But that just shows me and tells me that I was never really worth anything to her anyways. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And these same friends, they actually used to be our wing team. Like, we used to do everything with these guys like years ago. And when we started having issues, I started really noticing like the type of people that they were. And I cut them off like from myself to I put them at like an arm's distance. Like, yeah, you know what? Just something about them. I don't trust them anymore. And then so it made me start looking at the rest of our circle of friends and being like, all right, I probably shouldn't be friends with that person either. Probably going to cut them off too. You know what? I really like them. I'm going to bring them in a little bit closer. Right. So I kind of went through the same thing with the same people, right? But just years before she did. So, but anyway, so that's kind of a little situation that she's going through right now. And the reason why I bring this up this week is because this is some real life shit, right? And it really does affect her, and it affects how she's showing up. It affects how she's showing up in our relationship. It's affecting how she's showing up with her friends. It's showing up in many, many ways. So it's a constant discussion when we have dates and stuff too.
You know, and it's not even just, you know, this neighbor. I feel like I've lost other people too, as in I lost my other best friend to drug use. And I've basically lost my son to drugs and the streets. So that's a thing that's always on my mind, is like the loss of those people, even though they're still alive, it's still a loss out of my life. I feel like even sometimes that's even worse than like actually losing somebody to death, because you know that they're still there, that you still could possibly like even have a relationship with them again. So yeah, it's just totally different, but I am like, I wear a heart on my sleeve. I'll tell you, like, I am one of those people that unfortunately the smallest little things like affect my heart.
And which is also one of the reasons why I married her, is because that she's very empathetic to other people, but she's very in tune with people, and she's super, super, super sweet and considerate. So she takes things super personal whenever, you know, people do things or say certain things, you know, because she puts so much into everybody else, but she never gets even a fraction back as to, you know, compared to like what she puts into it. Yeah. So at times it's frustrating for her because she's putting so much into these people, but they tend to never put as much back as she's putting in. And I'm like, babe, you're a one of a kind kind of person. People don't value relationships like you do. They haven't had the experiences that you do. They don't take things or see things in the way that you do. You know, you see things completely differently because of the losses that you've had in your past. Like if you didn't watch first episode of us talking about that, go check
They're
that
just
out.
all dying around me, and I'm just kidding. No. But I really do, like when I first became a trainer, guys, it was so hard because when I had people quit, oh my gosh, I'm like, they don't like me. Oh my gosh, I'm awful at this. Yeah, totally. So I definitely took it personal, but then I just know, you know, different strokes for different folks. People have excuses. People don't want it bad enough that they're, you know, it's not me, because I think I am a good person and I have a lot to offer people. And, you know, that's why I honestly still do training, really, is because I get to meet so many people that I get to help. Like, you know, if you've heard me say it before, like, I feel like God put me through all the different tragedies and things that I've been through in my life, and actually still are going through, to help understand the other women that, and maybe even some men that come into my life through my training business, or just people that I happen to meet, to where I can give them some type of like hope that things are going to be okay. It's just how you look at life. And, you know, there's a positive in every situation, even bad things. Like I look for the positive in absolutely everything. It's definitely a learning as I go, for sure.
Yeah, it's a constantly evolving thing. So so with that said, what do you think that you have learned from this situation that you intend on doing moving forward when it comes to your friendships?
Whew, that's a tough one,
I
right?
just sprung that on her. She didn't know that was coming.
That's a tough one, because one of my biggest things, and I think we did talk about this too before, is I've had this not good enough feeling. And so like when this whole situation happened, it did trigger that, and also made me put up my guard again, because I've always been extremely guarded to fully open myself up to people, only because of the situations of the losses that I've had in my life. Is like, you know, I don't want to, I guess, like fully like taking that person and embrace them and love them so much, because I don't want to be like heartbroken again. Right. And unfortunately, like I know now, like I can't live that way. You absolutely can't live guarded. You deserve to open yourself up, and so do the people around you deserve your full heart and your full embrace. Your
spouses.
And so, yeah, so I've been learning a lot, I think, this past year, for sure. And I definitely think that our situation and the constant conversations that we have really do help unlock a lot of those doors in my mind and my heart, you know, that we actually talk about. Like we just started another book recently.
6 Pillars.
So that's really good.
So good. Yeah. And the reason why I'm bringing this up too, guys, is because there's going to be certain situations in your life and there's some emotional things that you may be going through. And like I was saying, she's super empathetic. So this probably is affecting her more than it would some of you, right? Because of how she is. So I always make a conscious effort to kind of see how she's feeling, you know, and how she's processing these emotions. And so on our dates and stuff, it's usually a topic of conversation. I'll bring it up, we'll kind of dig in. And as she's saying some things, I'll kind of like, you know, it brings up some more questions in my mind because I'm trying to actually help her get through it and help her process it. So that way she can actually get through this experience. So it's one of the powerful things of doing your date days and having the intentional time together. So you can actually have these conversations, because when it comes to women, especially, they need to be able to express themselves in order for them to deal with their emotions and heal. Right. So, and if they're not able to, then they start to hold it in, they start to get, you know, angry and resentful. And that's when they become a bitch and, you know,
hey.
and then you're not being a bitch at all.
I do a lot of like internal processing, you know, through thinking and stuff. Like in the 6 Pillars book, it says usually in a marriage, like there's one person, one of the spouses always wants to talk. That's him. Like he's constantly asking me questions, constantly. And I am like an internal processor. So I am just constantly thinking of things in my head. Yeah, he does bring up a lot of good questions. And even after our talks, I'm still like processing those questions, still thinking about them. And then, you know, obviously like converting them into something that like I can release out of my internal being. So I actually just started doing voice journaling. So like when I'm in the car, I just do like voice record and start journaling and just like basically like talking to my phone like I'm talking to you guys, and just like expressing my feelings and my thoughts and my gratitude and all that stuff.
It's so super powerful. Yeah.
Which I think is actually going to be much better for me because I've always been more of a communicator when it comes to like writing. And that was even with us before. So I started to even journal, like writing down stuff. But I think by expressing myself like verbally now, that is actually my journaling, that's going to help me be a better verbal communicator in our relationship too.
Absolutely. And the reason why this came up, guys, this whole marriage thing is a constantly evolving, constantly learning. You're constantly changing, you're constantly growing. So you're literally constantly learning about your spouse as they evolve through life too. I mean, she's going to be a completely different person in probably 5 years, right? So am I. So
I feel like I'm a completely different person from a year ago.
100%. Me too. So but anyway, this came up in one of our date conversations because I had noticed that she was holding on to a lot of these emotions, and I was trying to on our dates, trying to get some of this to come out, but she was kind of like holding it back. And then it came up that she hadn't been journaling. Right. And then before, she was journaling every day, first thing in the morning, you know, she's listening to her motivational books and stuff. And she said that she hadn't been journaling. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm noticing these emotions that you're holding in. You're not releasing them, because she's not actually doing her journaling anymore. And that was where we got the idea. Well, why don't you just do a little voice message, you know, and that way you're able to express it. And
I can do it while I'm driving because my time, I hardly have any time these days.
That's why we haven't filmed any episodes. We've been so damn busy. So, but anyway, we just wanted to kind of give you guys like a little peek into some of the challenges that we faced recently, because I'm sure maybe some of you guys may be going through some of that. And you know, when it comes to life, you got to be able to take this on like teammates, right? You're a team taking on the world together, right? So
absolutely.
So what would your tip be of the week, babe?
My tip would be to follow your heart and to not let other people get in the way of your relationship or even the rebuild of your relationship. Because you definitely need to block out those other voices, those other naysayers, in order to, you know, try to reconnect and rebuild. And
there's definitely another tip that we could have, that we could, if we could go deeper into that, what could we have done to prevent this altogether?
Just be better communicators.
No, not us in general, but when it came to that friend.
Oh yeah, to not share too much information with your friend.
So all the experts will tell you this, guys. You don't confide in your friends your relationship problems.
So, and speaking as a woman, that is very hard, and I think for women to do, because that's what women do just by nature, is like, we talk to one another, we share things, like we have to like vent. And a lot of times with guys, how are you going to vent to your partner when, even I told him, like, I wouldn't even been able to vent to you back in the day because he was so closed off, and he'd be like, well, you.
Totally. She's right.
So I'm like, I had to vent to somebody. So I'm like, okay, so let's look at it this way. If we have to vent and we feel like we can't talk to one another, then, I mean, yeah, you can write it down, but that's what like marriage counselors are for, because one, they're not your friends, and two, they're not on anybody's side. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole point, the lesson we're learning here, we could have probably prevented a lot of this whole friendship thing, just by not telling your friends your problems, right? So, because once you tell your friends your problems, you automatically change the perspective and the image of that person in their mind, right? And they completely see that person differently. So when you work your stuff out with your spouse, or your things are going well, they still see the bad version of them, right? It's never going to be the same.
We can actually rewind this even more and say, like, we really could have solved the problem if you just weren't an asshole.
If I wasn't an asshole, that's true. 100%. I was an asshole. 100%. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, totally. But we talked about that in the past episodes, where we were talking about that, you needed to heal from your shit, so that way you're not an asshole, right? So but yeah, she's right.
Which, in case if you're not on the Double D Lovecast group, Damon did a video that he posted in there, and also on our YouTube, talking about,
oh, that's right, I totally forgot about that. So I've been telling you guys, I think you reminded me of that. I've been telling you guys, so for those of you guys that may be new to this and not really knowing the history of me, I used to be a raging asshole. Okay. You probably look at me and tell that I was, right? Like, I'm actually pretty cool now, but I used to be an asshole to everybody all day. Right. And I discovered this process on how to actually heal from like all my past and my childhood and all my situations and all my BS. Right. And there's two techniques that I use to heal. And when it comes to men, right? Like, as a man, you cannot show up in your relationship until you've actually healed yourself from all your past shit, okay? Because there are certain situations in your relationship where she maybe needs to express herself and say something to you, and when you are wounded and you haven't healed, you are going to react to her, whatever she's saying, right? So she's going to come at you trying to express herself, getting her needs met, right? Trying to say something to you. It's going to trigger one of your wounds, and you're going to react to it. You're going to be an asshole. You're going to fight back. You're going to argue. You're going to justify. You're going to defend. Maybe you're going to lose your shit, throw some shit around the house. I don't know what kind of guy you are. That's not me, but I'm just saying, I know some of you guys are. But when you are unhealed, you can't hear her, right? So you need to heal yourself. And once you do, you are actually able to hear her and actually have conversations with her, and she can actually express herself. And maybe sometimes she's going to spit some venom. Okay. And when you're unhealed, you can't hear the venom. It triggers those wounds. You react. When you're healed, you can hear the venom and you go, okay. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you. Like, it's a completely different story when you're healed. Right. So the old me couldn't hear her ever. Like, the moment she said something, it was like, "Bwah!" Like, just, yeah, like it couldn't hear her ever. Right. So anyways, I made a video just like 2 days ago, because I've been telling you guys in some of the past podcast episodes that I was going to make a video teaching you guys my tricks on how to heal. Now, just so you guys know, ladies, the way we heal is different than how you heal. Okay, so you might not want to watch this video. This is for men. We're primal, we're cavemen, we're freaking barbarians. The way we do it is a lot different. But I did make a video. It's actually on our YouTube channel. I put it on there teaching you my 2 go-to techniques that I still use to this day when I'm going through something stressful. Even with these things that we're talking about right now with the gym and everything, I had to use these techniques to get through this emotionally, so that way I didn't become an asshole again. Right. So, but anyways, I made a video teaching you how to do this, going into more detail. It's on the YouTube. Some of you guys are watching this on YouTube right now, so it's in this, just look down below, but I'll put it in the links, in wherever we're sharing this as well too.
And don't forget, you guys, on Facebook, share, reshare this. Let's get the word out there.
Yeah, we were trying to save your guys' relationships, so that way,
because we're all broken.
Yes, we're all broken, and we're not taught
and relationships,
and we're not taught how to be in a relationship and how to run a successful marriage. Okay, the examples that most of us had set for us were complete failures. Okay, they were terrible examples of what a marriage is supposed to be like. So we have learned a lot through our process. We want to teach you guys what we've learned, what we're going through, and how we're resolving it. So that way, hopefully we can help you fix your shit. So that way you don't have to go through some of the stuff that we've been through. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, so I think that pretty much wraps up this episode this week. And thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you share this video.
Yes.
And if you haven't seen some of the other episodes, go back and rewatch those so you can catch up on some of the stuff that I might have mentioned today that you have no idea what I'm talking about. Go watch those.
Yeah. And if you guys ever have any questions, remember you can email us at doubledlovecast@gmail.com.
Yep, that's exactly it. So, so other than that, that's all we got for today. You guys have a great day. Go be intentional. Make sure you go on your dates this weekend. Plan your dates, sacred dates with your spouse, nobody else. Go connect, have great conversations, and then go home and have sex.
All right, guys. Have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye.